This is Tim Marshall and welcome to R&B Showcase Live. We're into our second season of the program. We thank you for joining us for the best in classical contemporary R&B, Motown, pop, soul, jazz, blues, featured artists, special guests, concert updates. Today we have a special guest in the house. She's a recording artist. She's a gospel, blues, R&B, and soul singer, musician, and also an educator. Nicolette Muse is our special guest on this edition of R&B Showcase Live.
Hi, I'm Jesse Peck of the Legendary Spinners, and you're watching R&B Showcase Live with Tim Marshall.
Tim Marshall for R&B Showcase Live. We have a very special guest in the house. She's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's a musician, and she's also an educator. And she's got a beautiful voice that you're definitely going to love. I want to welcome to the show, Miss Nicolette Muse.
Hello.
Nicolette, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Thank you for coming to the show. You look beautiful today, as ever.
Thank you. My pleasure to come, definitely.
Well, we want to talk about some things that have been going on. I mean, we go back quite a little ways now, you know,
Yeah.
from back in the day. And
I was a teenager.
yes, indeed. You've been recording, did some recordings, and you've been touring and playing music. And why don't you take us back a little bit? I mean, I know you for that beautiful voice, but I know that you've been singing for quite some time, and you've also been playing. So tell us, how did you get started with the music?
Well, family, definitely. I've always loved music. I always loved entertaining and dancing and singing. But when I was very young, we would, as a family, go to different family events, and come together and sing hymns. And it turned out that once I started playing the piano, I was the pianist for the family. And we would sing, and the family would sing, and I would play at family reunions, at funerals, at impromptu family parties. So it grew from there, but really from my family side, I had an aunt that recently passed, Aunt Laura Petty, and she turned me on to harmony.
Okay.
So when singing hymns, you know, you would always have that strong alto or tenor, or in my father's case, the bass. And my aunt loved singing the alto part of any song. Any song we sang, she would drum up the alto part. And from her, I learned to love harmony. Love it. And learn to love arranging music. So you could do all different types of things with music, go off into a totally different arena with it, but that's where my roots came from. And of course, you know, I have older sisters that sang, my sister Gwen, and I always wanted to emulate her in everything that I did. My sister Maria, my sister Cheryl, who is my harmony partner in crime, and I have a brother named Stephen that he loves to sing also. So it was deep in our family, but for some reason I was the one that just took it and ran with it.
I was thinking about when you said the harmony partners in crime. I remember you and Cheryl Muse sang on Miss Marilyn Marshall's Just Us Two and Hold On albums.
Yes, indeed.
Back in the day, and that harmony was absolutely beautiful. People are still talking about Bless Our Love and Only Those in Love. And you sing on the 12-inch single Let's Stay Together, which did
Yes.
very well in the clubs. And that's these young ladies' voices, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to thank you for that. Tell us a little bit about Miss Marilyn Marshall working with her.
Well, Miss Marilyn is my mother of blues. and I really say my mother because when I first met her, she just kind of like took me in and guided me musically. And a couple of times I went to her and asked her for advisement, and it was so spot on. But where music is concerned, it was that light. You know, they say don't hide your light under a bushel. Well, Miss Marilyn did not hide her light under a bushel. It shined bright. And when she walked into a room, she commanded that entire room. It didn't matter if she was performing or not. She commanded that room. Yes. But what I love most about it is that smile that showed love. The love of music and seriousness. And one thing that she told me a long time ago, if this is what I'm going to pursue with a whole heart.
When you talk about that love of music, when did you first know that you had, because you got a beautiful voice, when did you know that I think I may have something here?
Okay, well this is very funny, because when I was in grade school at Stewart School in Willingboro, and I sat, Mrs. Lane, Miss Carrie Lane was my music teacher, and I was in class, and I thought I was the greatest singer on the face of the earth. And anytime we sang anything, I would just yell out, "Oh yeah," because I got it. And she pulled me to the side, and she talked about my tone, because apparently I thought I was the greatest singer. But in some areas I was tone deaf, and I couldn't hold that tone. So she was my vocal teacher actually.
Okay.
She became my vocal teacher, and she taught me what she influenced me, I should say, about the tonality. But I've always loved music. I always loved Ring My Bell, or
award, yeah.
Earth, Wind and Fire, or Teddy Pendergrass, or I always Niecy Williams, who is my heart. I always loved music, and then when growing up in such a big family I'm the baby of 8 siblings. There was always an album or LP or and a gift of music. I got Stevie Wonder's album when I was 7 years old as a gift from my sister Gwen. 7 years old, so I always had that love of music.
Let's talk about the love of music. Let's talk about the many styles of music. And I mean, I know you do R&B, but it's not just that. You do other styles. Tell us about some of your styles that you sing.
Well, I sing just about everything. And I love everything. People think I'm crazy when they hear me listening to country music. But I love the harmony in country music. I love inspirational music. Gospel is my roots. Gospel is my foundation. R&B definitely. And jazz and blues and classical and opera.
I was getting ready to ask you that. Tell us about this opera singing. Nicolette opera?
Yes.
Okay.
And thanks to Miss Carrie Lane, because I went in kicking and screaming. I'm gonna tell you, I went in kicking and screaming. I couldn't stand it. I was like, oh, it's so corny and blah 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 blah. But older in life, I went back to get my degree in music education older in life. My children were born, and I just learned to appreciate. And I learned that the style of singing that we consider to be so corny or outdated, it takes a lot of strength and a lot of power to sing, but it's so similar. It is so similar to any other style of singing that you do. It's just a switch, a flip of a switch, and that's it.
Well, think about artists like Aretha Franklin. She sang very many different styles of music, and she really impacted the world with the different things. I mean, when the young man Paparazzi was it that couldn't sing and wasn't available to sing, and she went in and filled in for him and just sung that opera and just did an outstanding job. So, like you said, there's many styles. You know?
Now, and one thing that a lot of people don't realize is the training is exactly the same. The breathing is the same. The vocal technique is the same. And from the era of Aretha Franklin, when they sang in church, you had to learn the proper way to sing. You didn't just go up and just belt out a tune because you were thrifty. You had to learn the proper way to sing a song and to deliver it. So they had that technical foundation, as well as the artistry and the talent.
Now, we talked about some of the legendary artists. How about some of the artists that are out there today? Is there anybody that you admire that's on the scene, coming out today?
Well, this is going to sound funny, but I like the styling of Drake.
That is interesting.
I like his styling. I like his sing-song rapping melody style. I like the way that he arranges his music. The only problem is that I cannot handle the cussing. So anything that I listen to, it has to be on the radio or a parental guidance type. But I do like that style of music. I really do.
Well, he has talent, so you don't need the curse. You don't need the cursing.
No, he doesn't.
People don't realize that's not talent.
No, it's not.
So that's interesting, and I'm really floored. I've never heard anybody say that's great.
Yeah, like I said, I love all music, and I do love rap, which is strange to some folk, but I love rap and just across the board, everything.
How about the musicianship, Nicolette? When did that come into play? You said you've been singing all your life as a young person. When do you know that you could play? And how did you learn how to play? My
first instrument was clarinet.
Really?
Yes, clarinet. Once again, Stewart School, elementary. In third grade, I started clarinet, and then I moved on to piano, and when playing the piano, I would think out little tunes, and that's when my composition career began. And then I went into singing. Now, I was 9 with clarinet. I was 10, 11 piano, and at 12 I began vocal lessons. All along I sang, but I didn't start taking it seriously until I was around 12.
Do you think it was important to have the formal training as well as having the natural gifts that you have? And how important is it to have that additional formal training?
Formal training is important for the foundation. You learn, when I went to college, and this is what blew my mind, you learn a lot of technique. You learn theory, and you learn all of that. And at the end of it, you throw it all out, and they say, okay, now you've learned everything that you need to learn. Now create, do your own thing. So I think it's important for, especially with singers, to learn theory, to learn the foundation of singing, so that you're not played a fool, so that you can diagnose if there's an issue with yourself, and so that you can grow from it, because you cannot go on to major chord progressions if you don't learn 1, 3, 5.
The basics.
The basics. You have to learn the basics, and then in the recording industry, the musicians that advance are the ones that know it all, not the ones that just have an ear. Because there are a lot of musicians that have an ear, they can play anything. But those that can break it down and say and analyze and can transpose and change, they're the ones that take command.
It's funny you mentioned Jean Carn comes to mind from Philadelphia. I know that because we did the Golden Mics a couple of years ago, and she was on show with Miss Marshall and Sarah Dash in that group. And I think Anita Ward was also on that show.
Yeah, I remember that.
You came to that show, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But Jean Carn, even when during the rehearsals, she actually got up on the stage and said, you know what, set your monitors this way. She knew every inch of the stage. She wasn't just a person singing and performing. She could do the sound. She could do just about anything to set. Very professional. And I think that comes with part of that additional formal training that you have, that you learn these things over here. That's great. That's great. Yeah.
With my students, I tell them it's very important for you to learn the basics. Because they write songs, you go into a studio, you have a sound director who will change the whole thing around. And you'll end up with something that doesn't sound like what you want. So it's important for you to know the lingo, basically, so that when you go in there, you can remain in charge of your music.
Now, you talked about education, Nicolette. When did you start becoming a teacher?
I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Work was always very important in our family. So you always had to work. But I felt as though there was more to life than just going to a 9 to 5. And I decided to give it a try with going to computer training, to get my certification in computer languages. And that was just a test for me to see if I could learn. Because for some reason I didn't think that I had the ability to learn, to be educated. So I did go, I went to the Season2 Institute and I got my certification and I went into the corporate world.
You smiled at that.
That corporate world taught me a lesson. The corporate world, they were so cutthroat and so I just never, the professionalism was out the door.
Interesting.
That it sent me to college. It sent me to say, guess what? I passed that first test for myself. Now it's time for me to see if I can really pass the next test. So I went into school and I said, I'm good at music and I want to be educated in music. And that's the direction I went. So 6 years later, because the music education is it's a hard course to take, and it wasn't easy for a single mother. So there were times where I had to take a semester off and thin out my credit course work, but I made it, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. But to get back to your question, I felt as though music was what I loved and what I dreamed and what I did, and I wanted to learn every aspect of it. So that's what
you talked about being a single mother and the challenges. It's very challenging today to raise children. What advice could you give to some of the young mothers of today that are coming out now on how to just balance the work and school and just life itself?
I say put your pride on the shelf and ask for help, because without my support system, I wouldn't have made it. Without those times that I needed help and I opened up to say I need help, I would have been in trouble. Now, there were times where I'm in a house, I didn't have any lights, I didn't have any water because I didn't have the money, and I was so stubborn and so prideful that I didn't ask for help. So there are many, many people out there that are willing to help you. I say ask for help. That's the most important thing.
That's really great advice, Nicolette. I thank you for sharing that story with us and information and your music and everything. And we're going to invite you to come up and sing in just a few minutes. Before we do that, I also understand you're a good cook too, right?
I try. I try a little, yeah.
I've been dying to get you to taste this sweet potato pie.
Okay.
Now, you're a cook, so I want to get your opinion on this. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to let you try it. I think it's pretty good, but I have to get your opinion now. I got a fork here for you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna have a piece of myself because I think it's absolutely. Now I promised myself in the new year that I would eat more healthy. We're gonna have this pie, and after that we got some fruit and some nuts and things here, some healthy food. But you gotta try this. You gotta try this pie.
Now you're gonna think I'm strange for doing this, but I always smell food. Just try to sense what the ingredients are. So I do want to smell just a little sniff. Okay. And now for the taste. That's very good. Okay, one more bite.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the secret recipe when you're done tasting it. Not bad.
That's very good. Very good.
Okay, now, would you like to know the recipe of this pie?
I would.
Okay, the recipe, I have to be honest, because I keep it real, is Patti LaBelle.
Oh, that's one of her sweet
That's
potato
Patty's
pies.
sweet potato pie. I think that is the best sweet potato pie I've ever tasted. So I have to give Miss Patti LaBelle her props on that pie.
I would say Patti LaBelle's pie is good.
It's very good, isn't it?
You must not have tasted it.
Uh-oh, okay. All right. That sounds like a challenge. And I know you like to challenge me. You're lucky I didn't bring a deck of cards in, Nicolette. I started to bring the cards, but I said I'll hold off on that.
Yeah, we have something to win back.
Yes, okay.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But Nicolette, again, thank you for being on the show here today. And before you leave, we're gonna take a break, and then we come back. We're gonna ask you if you wouldn't mind entertaining us with a song so that the folks can hear that beautiful voice.
Okay, not a problem.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Tim Marshall for R&B Showcase Live, coming back at you with a special performance from Nicolette Muse. Introduce the band.
I know they're antsy to play over here, so I guess guys, give it up for the Dead Flowers, baby. They're ready to rock and roll. Yeah!
Williams was always a great influence on me. Even though I was very young, one of her songs caught me. I have since not been able to find the song, but it's always been on my heart. The harmony, the arrangement of the song. So I'm going to sing This Time It's Over. And then I'm going to sing a song that I wrote called Over. This time it's over. This time there'll be no turning back, 'cause all the paper needs is a signature from you and me. We now divide the things and know we've met the price to pay, 'cause all the paper needs is a signature from you and me. You say you can't understand why I must leave. You say you can't understand why I must leave. You say that I should know you deeper than you could. You say you knew one day that leave I would, leave I would. Body-a, 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 body-a. The story behind this song, this song just dropped into my spirit, and I was able to write the whole song out and sing the whole song out because it was exactly the way I felt at the end of a relationship when you have taken all that you possibly can. I don't have to tell you, you know the time has come, because it's been going on for far too long. I am tired of crying, I'll wipe my tears away. It's time for me to pack up and just move on. Cause don't you know this love's done, this love is done. I can't take this pain no more, I'd rather be all alone. Yes, this love's done, stop holding on. There is nothing left for me, oh no, I got to keep moving on. I am tired of you treating me just like a fool, and I'm tired of the selfish things you do. Well, I ain't no fool, oh no, I have had it, I'm walking right out of the door. Then you'll know this love that you should have adored. I know you're gonna miss me, I know you'll be wanting me back someday, but I am not staying. There is nothing that you can do or say. Oh no, no, this love is done. Yes, this love is done, boy. I ain't staying here no more. Oh, this love is done. Stop holding on. There is nothing left for me, oh no. I got to keep moving on, moving on. Hey.